Are you considering buying a home or potentially selling a home in Southern California in 2022 and wondering what the real estate market is going to do? Well, in today's video, we're going to spend a little bit of time and talk about expectations, housing market forecast for 2022 here in Southern California. We're going to talk about where we were this time last year compared to now, and what the key drivers of the housing market are going to be for 2022. We're going to talk about expectations with regards to inventory. We're going to talk about when you're likely to see properties come on the market, what's going to happen during the summer, and what to expect in the fall, so that you have an idea of how to navigate the housing market as we start to move into 2022. My name is Jeb Smith. I'm a real estate broker here in Huntington Beach, actually in Orange County here in Southern California. And my goal with this video isn't to get you to purchase a home. It's really just to provide you with some basic information so that you can make informed decisions when going through that process. So let's start today's video and talk a little bit about what happened in 2021. 2021 was the year of no inventory. Right? Very few properties were on the market. Things moved very, very quickly, especially in the spring. Homes were selling way above the asking price, multiple offers, people getting outbid left and right, and things moved very, very fast. I would say on an annual basis, we had a housing market that appreciated probably somewhere between 15 and 20% for a lot of cities out there. So really, really fast appreciation, rapid growth. I mean, even though it's very positive for those out there that bought homes, it's also a negative because you don't want the markets appreciating quite that fast. But we did see it in the spring. The summer started to slow down towards the end, and we thought we might see a little bit of transition in the market, but it picked right back up after the kids went back to school, which is typically a slow time in the market. Last year it was not, because inventory was still low, interest rates were still very low. And so things continued to move all the way through the holiday season, right? I personally had properties that came to the market a week before Christmas, and this is a time that I wouldn't normally list properties, but because of the lack of inventory and the buyer demand that was out there, we decided to list these properties, and we're still receiving multiple offers at that time, going above the asking price. So 2021 was a very strong year, and we ended the year with the lowest level of inventory of active listings that I've seen on the market ever since I've been doing real estate, or since I've been involved in real estate, which is nearly 20 years in this business. And so ended the year under 1,000 active homes on the market. In fact, it was somewhere around 900 active listings. And that puts us into 2022. So now we're into 2022. We're the first week on the market. And as of today, we have 1,021 active listings on the market. Compared to last year, this time we had 2,522 homes on the market. So we currently have 40% of the active listings that we had this time a year ago. And we know what happened last year. So what are we expecting this year? Well, I think you're going to start to see some inventory come to the market, right? It is seasonality. It is typically what happens this time of year. As we start to move into the spring, things start to loosen up. The weather starts to get a little bit warmer. Those that have thought about selling tend to put their homes on the market about the first week in February. And from there, it's usually gangbusters all the way through about midsummer. And I expect this market to be very similar to what we've seen in the past. Now, I don't know that you're going to see the appreciation, the craziness that we saw last spring, but I do think that you're going to see multiple offers on properties. I think homes are going to sell above the asking price in many situations, especially if they're priced fairly. But with that being said, I know there's a lot of sellers out there at the moment that are getting a bit egregious, trying to take advantage of the market and really pushing the price. In fact, I've talked to a couple that have really wanted to push the price on the property much higher than I thought they should list it for. But there's a good chance, because of the lack of inventory, you're likely to see some of these properties still sell. But the best strategy is always to price it at where you think it's worth and let the market dictate the price. So with that being said, I do expect more and more inventory to continue to come to the market over the next couple of weeks, and that to probably build as we move through spring. I expect many of those properties to be met with buyer demand, which means that the active inventory is not going to build as fast as properties coming on the market, right? Many of them are going to go into escrow, become pending sales, and eventually close escrow, which means that inventory is likely to stay low overall. I think our peak last year was somewhere around 2,700 active homes on the market, which was done sometime in February. And so this year, I would expect a market similar to that for the first half of the year at least, because I do expect interest rates to stay low. I think interest rates on the high side are probably going to be 3.625, maybe even 3.75 on the high side, but I believe that's pushing it. I don't think the Fed can do much, even though they do plan to raise the Fed funds rate. And I also believe you're likely to have some people move money out of equities, the stock market, because of inflation, because of volatility, move them into real estate, also move them into bonds, which should keep interest rates low. Buying real estate is a fixed asset. You know exactly what you're going to bring in monthly if you're deciding to use it as an investment. And also, you gain that appreciation during that period of time. Many of the major organizations out there are expecting, another year of appreciation. And it ranges anywhere between 2% up to 17 or so percent. So if you did an average, you're still looking at somewhere between 8 and 9%. And a lot of money out there wants to capture those gains, if at all possible, while having that fixed monthly payment on the investment side. So I think you're going to have money still move and flow into real estate, which is going to keep demand high, keep inventory, pretty moderate. I don't think that inventory is going to build, and the market's going to continue to move forward. With that said, Orange County, where I'm located, you really have a big mix of types of property that you can choose from, because you have condos, townhomes on the lower side, which are in this market are somewhere in the $400,000 range, if you can even find one. And then on the upper side, you have the luxury, even super high luxury, where properties are selling $40-50 million. And all markets are moving. It's not just one side of the market that moved in 2021. The luxury market also performed very well. In fact, the number of luxury sales year over year from 2021 to 2020 was up almost 50%. So there were nearly 6,100 luxury sales in 2021 versus around 3,300 in 2020. So you've got a lot more higher end properties selling. And a lot of that is because people have gained equity in their property. They're able to take that equity, either keep their property and refinance and pull that cash out, or sell that property, take that equity and buy something else. So that allows people to purchase higher end property. You also have the wealthy putting their money into real estate, as we've discussed. There are people, CEOs, CFOs, that are out of state buying coastal property here in Orange County. I know that because I have many friends that sell in the high luxury space telling me, who these people are coming in. So there is still money flowing into that high-end real estate, which has allowed luxury to do really, really well. But at the same time, luxury inventory is also down. So you've got inventory across the board down. And as long as demand stays high, which it will because interest rates are going to stay low, you're going to have a market that's going to continue to move, worst case sideways, but likely up. Now, I don't think you're going to see, again, the appreciation, the craziness, the rapid growth that we saw last year, but I do expect it to be a competitive market. So if you're a buyer out there, you need to work with a professional. You need to work with someone who understands this market, how to navigate it, understands how to write offers, some things that you can do in your offer to help set yourself apart. It's a huge plus in this environment. You also need someone to be able to factor in what the market is doing, if it is appreciating, so that you can factor that into your offer to help your offer stand out. In addition to that, you need to make sure that you're pre-approved. We've talked about that many times. In fact, you need to be in a position where, your lender can maybe shorten those contingency periods. There are many things you can do to help your offer stand out. Working with a professional on both the real estate and the lending side is obviously huge in getting your offer accepted in this market. So make sure you're doing that. And if you want to get in contact with me, or you need a referral to an agent, there's a link in the description below. And also, if you're a seller and you're considering putting your home on the market, there are things that you can do to help your property stand out. You're still in a market where things are going to move very quickly. You do need to price it correctly, so that is a key piece of the puzzle. But you also need to understand what the market is doing at that time, so that you can price accordingly, so that you can do some things in order to help your property stand out. Because as we get further into spring, there is going to be more and more competition out there. You might not be the only home in a neighborhood like you would be at the moment. So you're likely to have some competition out there. So there are things you can do to help your offer stand out. Working with a professional on that side will also allow you to take advantage of the market, likely sell your home quickly above the asking price. And while we're talking about that, the average days on market is likely to be very, very quick. So if you see a property out there that looks interesting, something that you want to see, want to make an offer on, time is going to be of the essence, right? You're not going to be able to wait to see that property because things are going to move quickly. Good properties, nice properties that are priced correctly are still going to sell very, very fast. Now, if you're still watching this, I'd love to know what you're seeing out there in the market. If you're here in Southern California, if you've been looking at property, what are you seeing? Have you been putting in offers? Where are properties selling based on where your offers have been? And maybe you're not in Orange County. Maybe you're in Riverside or San Bernardino, which those markets are also doing very, very well. As of today, Riverside had 2,298 listings on the market, and San Bernardino had just under 2,000. So active inventory in all of these markets is very, very low. It's going to be competitive across the board. And even those inland areas like San Bernardino and Riverside are possibly going to be more competitive because people are going to continue to get priced out of Orange County. As affordability becomes a bigger issue here locally, people are going to move inland where they can get more property, they can get more bang for their buck. They're now, some of these people are now allowed to work from home. So the commute is no longer an issue like it was a couple of years ago. And so these markets are going to continue to thrive, in my opinion, as well. Maybe not as well as the coastal areas. That's typical, but they are going to continue to appreciate. So again, let me know what you're seeing out there in the market, your plans to buy real estate this year. And do me a favor, if you found any value in this content at all, hit the thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to stay updated on everything real estate related, especially if you're here in California. And if you're one of those people sitting out there wondering if you should buy now or wait for foreclosures to come or, wait for lower housing prices, do me a favor, check out this video here. I dive into it in more detail. But for now, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I appreciate all the support. Hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.